Good morning, survivors, and happy Monday. Today we're going to talk about ways that you can shut down a narcissist when they're going nuts on you. All right, so let's get started. I'm sure you already know you're dealing with a narcissist, but I thought I'd share with you a few really quick identifiers just in case. All right, so one of the first things you need to know is that a narcissist will expect you to always appreciate and admire them, no matter what their situation is and no matter how difficult they have become. And of course, they overestimate their own abilities and underestimate the contributions and abilities of other people around them. And they also fantasize about unlimited success in whatever they do. That doesn't make you a narcissist if that's all you've got in common, because you also need to be able to compare yourself quite favorably with high status people, assuming that only those special and awesome people like that will actually truly understand and appreciate them. Of course, they're also unreasonable and demanding, and they contribute very little to the relationship. And of course, most narcissists, this is a big identifier of almost all narcissists, as a matter of fact, on the toxic level, they have no empathy. They sneer at you. They're they love contempt. They love to act like they're better than you, and and other people too. And they're overcritical, and they're unwilling to discuss your feelings because they don't even see those feelings as real or relevant. And of course, they lack insight into themselves and their own behavior, and they lack appreciation of you and of your feelings, your values, and generally yourself. You understand? All right. So now that we've got that figured out, how do we deal with them when they go into the gaslighting mode, where they're trying to make us feel crazy, or the manipulation mode, where they're trying to just do whatever they can to get what they want? Let's talk about it. But first, let's get some coffee, shall we? Got the coffee. Let's carry on, shall we? So obviously the first and best way to deal with a narcissist is to not deal with a narcissist. And it's very tempting for us as empaths to go, but I can change him or her. I understand them and I know what they are, and maybe I can help them heal their core wound. You can't. And that's the thing that sucks. It's just like when you're watching a movie and you know that, the villain is about to, get the like a horror movie, and like, say, I don't know, Jason or somebody, some horror movie character is about to get the heroine of the movie, and if only she just wouldn't, go out the back door in the woods by herself at night, she wouldn't die. And you might be screaming at the TV, don't do it. Guess what? You know how effective that is, right? It's not, because obviously the movie's already been made. Same deal with a narcissist. If it's just like if you're screaming at someone on the TV, they don't hear you, just like that. Does that make sense? And so blah, blah, get out now. Obviously, that's the most obvious answer, and it's not one that always is real and not one that works in people's lives. So let's get some real answers, shall we? So this one's not going to be popular either, but it's the truth. If you want to deal with a narcissist, you have to be prepared to either kiss up or, well, shut up. What do I mean by that? Y'all know that when you're dealing with a narcissist, if you are doing what they want you to do and how being who they want you to be. So if you want to deal with a narcissist, you have to be prepared to communicate effectively with them. And the only way to do that is to admire them, their achievements, their toys, everything they have, everything they are. That's how you deal with a narcissist. You treat the narcissist as though he or she is your hero, your most, profound, amazing person that you can't get enough of, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know the deal, right? That's what you do. If you don't admire everything about them and follow them around and do all the goodness that they want and all the butt kissing that they like, you will end up dealing with narcissistic injury. Oh, poor me, poor narcissist, blah, blah. And that's equally frustrating in some ways because they do the whole victim thing. They do the whole nobody loves me thing, and it can be overwhelming and stressful for you. And so one way to ease that, if you're still dealing with them, is to just, oh, you're so amazing. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they want you to say. You feel me? I know that if you reject a narcissist, they freak out. If you act weak, they'll try to victimize you. If you act stressed out, they'll try to add stress to your plate. If you expose them or try to, they'll hate you forever and they'll smear campaign you. It's just not worth your time or your energy, is it? So if you can't get away with them and you don't know what to do, where do you go from here? How do you deal? First thing you can do is accept your limits. Accept their limits. The fact is that, narcissists aren't fair. They are just about themselves, and quite honestly, They will always do whatever they can to make their day easier, and they don't really care how they affect you. So if you want something from them or you need something from them, you get it up front, okay? So you don't, extend credit. For example, if you say to a narcissist, if you take out the trash, I will pack your lunch today for work, for example. Lame example, but just go with me on that. The narcissist would, if you made the lunch first, the narcissist would likely grab the lunch and go, and the trash would still be there. But if you make them take out the trash before you pack the lunch, you might get something done. So always expect payment up front for any type of favors or exchanges of favors with a narcissist. Another thing you can do is treat a narcissist like a little child. And what I mean by that is when they do anything good, you recognize it. You go, oh, okay, that's a good thing they did. Good job, you're so amazing. Oh my God, you're so amazing. How did you get so amazing? Because you see, then you're combining the desired result, which is getting things done, an act of kindness, something like that, with what the narcissist wants, the supply they need, which is, oh my God, you're so amazing, admiration. You feel me? Not the best thing, but it works. This one's really good. Another way you can shut down a narcissist is to ask them how other people would see what they're doing. What would people think about that? Okay. Now, this only works if you're in a position to advise them on something, but let's, we have to understand that narcissists don't care how people think or feel, but they do care about their appearance. Okay. So, the way that they appear to groups of people or people who they consider as good as them or better than them, which usually doesn't include their primary source of supply, sadly. So instead of telling them how people would react, you might ask questions like, would Pastor so-and-so be disappointed if he heard this about you? Or how do you think that, Joe Blow down at your office would feel about it? Sometimes it doesn't always work, but with some narcissists, this will help them reframe it in a way that it could work. And again, you have to be careful with this one. It does work in certain cases, but if you're being physically abused or if you're afraid for your safety, you can't use this one because it might upset the narcissist more than you realize. So be careful. Ultimately, the best thing you can do to shut down a narcissist is use the gray rock practice, which is where you just, when they're gaslighting, when they're going through the narcissistic injury, when they're trying to manipulate you, you just don't give the appearance of any sort of emotion. For example, if the narcissist says to you, gosh, you're not very smart, are you? You really, that big nose of yours, it misleads people. They see that big nose, they think smart person, but you're just not smart. What's the best way to deal with that? Well, here it is, watch. Oh yeah, that's interesting that you think that. See how there was no expression on my face, no emotion at all? Yeah, gray rock. It may not look like a big deal, but the narcissist wants that from you. They want those emotions. They want you to be upset that they insulted you, and they want you to cry. They want you to be angry. And if you don't give them that, that's boring to them. That's no supply. Then you're not giving them the supply they want. And so if you don't give them that, they will usually turn around and go look for a different way to get attention. So something to think about. So if you're still dealing with a narcissist, make sure you give yourself permission to not think about them 24/7, and make sure you give yourself permission to not put their needs before yours. You've been conditioned in this relationship to do just that, so it's something to consider. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for you guys today. I'll see you probably tomorrow with another video. If you have more questions on how to shut down a narcissist, just leave them in the comments section below, and I will see you soon. As always, thanks for being a part of my day and a part of my life, and hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It does mean a lot to me.